Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Love and Marriage Huntsville recap. It's right on the screen. Why did I go blank? Season 10, episode 4, Cowboys and NDAs. Do me a favor and hit the like button. One thing that is clear to me about all this cast is they're all doing the same thing in different ways and yet trying to call one another out for it. Tisha, you guys aren't transparent. Nell, you guys aren't transparent. Kimmy, y'all aren't transparent, and neither are Trish and Hulk. No one here is being transparent about everything. Do I expect you guys to? No. You do have the right to your privacy, but don't lie and act like you're showing us oh so much when you really aren't. Like Marceau said when he and Tisha went live before this thing came back on, he said, "This is a show, you guys. This is a show." So y'all are giving us versions that you think you want us to see while not being transparent, since that was the word of the day today. But let's go ahead and jump into it. If there's something that I leave out that you want to talk about, feel free to put it down below. And in case you guys did not know, I am currently reviewing The Heart and Hustle Houston. I watched the first episode the other day and I put that review up. It's actually a very good show, and hopefully I'll put up another one either today or tomorrow because I'm not doing anything tonight. But it just depends on my mood, really. Anyways, so look out for that and go watch the first one if you haven't done so already, because I think it's a show that we're going to enjoy. So back to this. We pick up with the Scott 2.0 and 2.1, 1 and 2.0. Girl, get it together. Calm down. We pick up with the Scotts. Rewind. And they are having their couples dinner. And Maurice is still trying to deflect and disagree about the golden child and say that he treats both of the boys the same way and that he treats them the way that they were treated, and what he's done has obviously worked. But to me, it's clear that it didn't. Jaylen doesn't even really seem that comfortable talking to Maurice. Even later on when they get together in the episode, he just seems more comfortable when Marceau is around. That's my opinion. You all tell me yours. In all seriousness, I think that both Kimmy and Maurice need to be thankful for the young man that Jaylen is, because had the roles been reversed, I know me personally, if I was a child in that situation and if my mom allowed a man to not consider me the way that I feel like Maurice did not consider Jaylen when he was younger, I personally wouldn't have been so light on my mother or my stepfather once I brought this to their attention, because I feel like they're still not getting, or he still isn't getting, just how much this may have possibly affected him. It may even affect the way that he looks at his mom. So Marceau tells him that the whole point of this conversation is to let him know that he needs to stop treating his stepchild like a stepchild. Basically, he's telling him, treat him like your son, that you need to work on, that relationship with him. Kimmy is getting upset at what he's saying, and she tells us that the type of person that her husband is that you have to have the same conversation over and over again. And it is frustrating, but every now and then, when he has a conversation with someone like more so, whose opinion he values, this is what she's saying, it matters. I said, Kimmy, you don't even realize that what you're telling us is your opinion, and your son's opinion apparently didn't matter because he doesn't value it the same way that he does his brother. That would be a problem for me, especially because Kimmy, ding, 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 you're his wife. Like, you married this man. I just hate to see y'all. Kimmy is such a pick me, and it shows up in ways that drive me nuts, because Kimmy was my girl in the earlier seasons. And when I look at her now and I see the way that she just like plays and acts like she's not highly intelligent, she was a nurse. Like, nurses are smart. It, anyway, let me let it go. Kimmy's a disappointment, bottom line. So Marceau basically wants his brother to do better and listen. Okay, so we go from that scene to Trish and her Incredible Hulk, and the both of them show up looking a mess. I mean, it is to the point now where I feel like if there are 10 outfits that we see Trish wears out of the 10, only one of them, one, only one of them is gonna look right. She gets it wrong every single time. And it's sad because in this scene, the pictures that she's taking are supposed to be pictures that are going to be outside of the venue and inside of this bar for her birthday party. And I'm just looking at her like, this is going to be your 38 special because she's turning 38. And this is what we're doing. We're doing this photo shoot with Ken, who's supposed to represent a black cowboy, and he didn't even go all out. He just had on like a buffalo print vest that showed his arms, and he stood there with a black hat. Like, come on, y'all are just trash. I don't understand why Ken was in the pictures, which works for me because later on Tisha says it too. So they once again are talking about the whole Marquez drama and how Ken is tired of it. I just want y'all to film one scene where you don't mention him. Just one. One. When the two of y'all are together, I want y'all to talk about something other than him. Period. So Ken thinks after they get this divorce that they're not even going to have to worry about him anymore because they won't see him. The man is back in the area. And to be fair, you don't have to see him. You don't. His daughter is of age where communication can be limited. Maybe y'all see each other at her dance competitions and stuff like that, but y'all don't even have to sit in the same section. Like, it really doesn't need to be a thing. My son just had his graduation, and a whole bunch of us were in one section, and I don't know where his father was, and I don't care. If I edited, I probably should have edited out. My point is, you don't have to be around one another. You can be in the same spaces, which later on we were in the same space when we went to celebrate him. But my point is, you can be in the same space and not have to like really interact. That's my point. So he thinks this 38th year will be the best year because he's probably thinking that she's going to get divorced. But guess what? As of today, she's still not divorced. Later, we see Trish meet up with Nell at her facility. Nell invited her over because she wants to talk crap about Tisha and Kimmy. But you should know better than that now, because Trish has shown how she is. And now, I don't know how to tell you this. You don't have a friend on this cast. You don't. So they talk about this upcoming Dukes and Boots party. Nell's talking about how she don't know if she could put all of that she got in some shorts and whatever else and had that hanging out. And she's like, yeah, you could do it. Just, wear whatever. Make sure you have your stuff. Anyways, so we see the flyer. The flyer is trash. And we find out that everyone, with the exception of her husband and Martell, are invited. Now, Nell starts talking about the dinner, right? This dinner that they had the other day, and how she basically feels a way about it because she feels like Tisha always gets liquid courage and that Tisha was acting away at the dinner. And she didn't like how Tisha was acting at the dinner. She didn't like that Tisha was talking about Nell the way she was. And she feels like Tisha didn't talk about her problems. And Tisha isn't transparent. And neither is Kimmy. And she doesn't share anything that neither one of them share anything that they have going on. And Trish is making an excuse for Tisha, like, maybe it was just too much for her and yada, yada, yo. I wrote, none of them are honest, though. They all avoid certain topics. Now, your stepdaughter has a lot to say about you and her father on the internet, and y'all still have not addressed that situation. You presented it as though y'all were so close the first season you all finally were officially on the show, and then y'all had that fallout, and we haven't addressed it again. Like, we're acting like that didn't happen, and like Lexi isn't out here telling her side of the story, but we're not going to cover that. So you aren't being transparent either. Trish says, If the ladies are anything like them, then they probably did have a conversation about what they saw or what was said on the internet. They probably discussed it, and it's just something that they probably don't want to talk about with them. So she and Nell think that, maybe they're a little guarded. Either way, they're going to talk about it when they get to the Duke's party. So we are back to Maurice. Okay. He really refuses. I put in here in my notes, he really refuses to show us what's really going on. So we're going to continue to talk about him and Jaylen. I wish they would find another storyline. Anyways, he meets up with Jaylen and Marceau. Y'all keep talking about this Jordan property. Take us to the Jordan property. Show us what's going on at the Jordan property. Take us in your office and let us see what you really do, because you're supposed to be an attorney. I don't know how that's working out for you. I don't think we got to see your clients or anything like that, but I question some of what he's bringing. You're in this office, and the only people we ever see come in the office are you. Did you all really need that office, or could it have been a thing where you work from home? I don't know. So we find out that Maurice has not been to Jaylen's new property. And one of the reasons why is because Jaylen doesn't want his input, but he wants Jaylen to invite him. Marceau isn't even trying to hear all of that. He is catching, as his brother is speaking, that he feels a way about not being invited over there, that he's sensing his tone. And he's like, I don't have a tone off it. He's like, no, but you do. Jaylen says, here's the thing. There's business talk, and then there's family talk. And when it comes to the whole business talk, it sounds like it's more of a dictatorship. That as far as he's concerned, in their family, it's a totem pole. And it's Maurice, then his mom, then MJ, then himself. He says MJ may be the last on the totem pole as far as knowledge is concerned, but he is not last when it comes to favor and love. It once again means this is about more than you expecting more from Jaylen. This is about the way that you have shown up in Jaylen's life from the time that you were in it. I don't know if he was 9, 13, whatever. I can't remember the age. I know he was a young man at this point, going into those teenage years, right? It means something to him that he is saying, with favor and love, he is not last. Y'all poured more into the child of your loins than you did to Kimmy's son. So we, in my opinion, have seen the way that he expected Kimmy to be there for his son, to cook for his son, to clean for his son, to do all these things for his son. Yet, were you willing to do those very same things for hers? Kimmy showed up more for certain things than he even did. So there's a difference there. And I'm not saying she shouldn't. Like, she's supposed to treat him like her son because you've married this man. The problem is Kimmy was okay with her husband not doing that for her own. So his brother feels like the problem with Maurice is that Maurice just has this inability to see the world through other people's eyes. And I believe that's right. I feel like it's something that he chooses to do, though, because he much rather give his speeches than actually take time to do some shadow work and look at himself and say, you know what, there's some stuff I got to change about myself. So as a result of that, he said their relationship isn't going to grow. That's basically what he's saying. He sees that there's a double standard, and he tells his brother that. I guess it does something. I don't know if it's for the show or if it really does something. But Maurice is like, look, I love y'all the same. I want you, Jaylen, when you see me doing something or when you feel a way about how I'm doing things, call me out on it. Let me know. And I'm going to, try to work on it. Jaylen says, okay. Marceau wants to make sure that his brother understands what Jaylen wants. Now, I thought in terms of them, but he was talking about career wise, because next thing you know, Maurice is saying he wants to grow in cybersecurity, he wants to grow his investment portfolio, and he wants to grow in real estate. This is when Jaylen lets him know, like, oh yeah, since we're talking about that, let me go ahead and let you know that I did accept the position in Colorado, and it's going to start at the end of the month. Now, Marceau is excited for him, right? He tells him congratulations. Whereas you can tell Maurice is ready to start his Martin Luther King stuff and give him a whole bunch of advice. So Maurice is like, no, it wasn't Maurice. I think it was Marceau. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Marceau. Marceau is like, is this what you really wanted? And Jaylen's like, it's in a field that I want to be in. Um, I just didn't know that I would have to be going 17 hours away to Colorado for it. He says for the last 3 years, he's been taking pay cuts each year. And, it's been a lot. And Maurice feels like, wait, it's not that it's a pay cut. Like, don't look at it like it's a pay cut, man. Look at it as it being a sacrifice for the greater. Jaylen takes that. He then talks about how well Jaylen has turned out. And I just want you to understand, Maurice, that has nothing to do with you. Everything that young man is because of the other people who poured into him and his mother. Shout out to the parents, because it's not just moms. Shout out to the parents who get the job done, who make sure that they pour into their children, and the mentors and all of those people, to the adults who pour into these kids and make sure that they turn out to be exceptional individuals. Okay, done with that. We get to Martell. Martell is on our screens this week to meet up with his words, loving and thoughtful mom that he speaks to every single day for breakfast. He's talking about his son, Maverick. The boy's name is not Maverick, it's Knox. His mother named him Knox, but Martell wants him to be called Maverick. So we're going to call him Maverick, I guess. No, we're not. Knox. So they talk about Ariane and him now moving her to the investment property. He's claiming it's because it doesn't make sense for him to build whatever. But if the investment to be paying for that place and have this property, if the investment property is an investment property, you're not building anything if you're putting her in that property. Like the money is being taken out. It's not building up. I'm seeing red, I'm not seeing black. So what are we doing here except trying to save expenses, really? So he plans on marrying her if she's the person. It took him a minute, but I guess now he feels this way. He keeps changing his mind on this marriage thing. You want marriage so bad because you want to have somebody else on your arm, but I don't feel like you're ever going to get what you once had. And that's what he's trying to do. He thinks that he can recreate what he had before. And I don't think that could ever happen again, because I don't think that neither one of them are in the position to do that. We find out that for his mother, it took her a while to be where she is now, where she can say that Ariane is a nice girl, because she didn't want it. She wanted Mel and him to work out. Y'all tell me what you think, but I don't think his mom too much cares for Ariane, because she still made her little slick comments towards the end. I don't think that she really cares for Ariane. I think that she tolerates her because she wants to be in her grandchild's life, and because her and Martell have this unhealthy codependent thing going on, right? So his mom is trying to adjust to Ariane. She says it's going to take time. He's talking about how his mother and other people thought that Ariane destroyed his marriage, but she didn't. My opinion on that is people with sense wouldn't believe that. People who watched the show and heard what was going on wouldn't believe that. You are the one who was married. He is the one who took the vows. He is the one that kept running over there, even during a pandemic. So it is on him. Now, she's not innocent either. But when it comes to his marriage, he destroyed his marriage. At this point, Marlene tells him, like, look, even if you do decide to get married to her, just make sure that you're taking your time. Don't rush. My opinion on this is, after all these years, because it's been multiple years, it's probably been like 10 years of him dealing with this chick, he knows whether or not he wants to marry that woman. You do. Men know. They do. Talked to several of my guy friends, and a lot of them knew very early on where they stood in terms of who they were dating. And the fact that he has been able to go back and forth as he pleases with this girl, he doesn't have to ever put a ring on it because she seems to tolerate it. So, they talk about the Scots. Oh, he also says that he has to make sure that, she's right. But with Destiny, it was something else. They talk about the Scots. Of course, his mom is still enabling his behavior. He's talking about how the Scots haven't spoken to him since the whole thing, especially Marceau. And since that video, and his mom feels away about what Tisha said. And he lets his mama know that they better be careful what else they say about him because he has more stuff. Then spill it. Spill it. Is something on my mouth? Why my lip look crazy? I need to put some. Sorry, y'all. My chapstick ain't even nearby. I need to moisturize because baby is looking dry. Anyways, tell us what it is. I am so tired of the threats. It is clear to me that all of them have stuff on each other. And I feel like the problem with this situation is Martell is envious of the other men because the other men have been able to do dirt and still be with their wives. The other wives have either been privy to the situation and they tolerate it, or they really don't know. Either way, he's the only one who has been uprooted from his wife while they still get to do what they're doing and he's not. So for me, if you're going to tell it, then tell it. Stop saying you have things. You've been doing this since season 1 and it's getting old. So we go from that to the Dukes and Boots party. Kimmy looked good with her coat on because at first I put Kimmy and Tisha look great, but Kimmy didn't look so great once she took off that coat to me. Sorry, but I do feel like Tisha looked really good. Marceau looked kind of good too. Marceau with that cowboy hat and those glasses. I found myself doing a little bit of a double take, and then I was like, "Oh, not me double taking Marceau." But I see you, Marceau. I'm not mad at it. I see it. I see it. So Tisha says is like me with the whole thing. She's trying to figure out why Ken is in on these pictures when it's Trish's party. Lance and Jaylen arrive. They're questioning him because of the whole baby thing. Nell and Chris arrive. Then the birthday girl and Hulk arrive. Y'all, you're the birthday girl. This is your party. You're 38 special. You're supposed to be the baddest of the bunch. And once again, she has gotten it wrong. How does your hair look awful and it's under a hat? Hats are utilized to cover up messy hair or untamed hair. And you have on a hat and you still look a mess. Like, I don't know if she's not putting enough bundles in it. It looked a little stiff, a little dry. Like, I don't quite know what's going on, but it was bothering me. That's number one. Number two, why do you look like you're a majorette? Why do you look like you're about to be at like a Norfolk State game or a Virginia State game? Look at me naming yeah, HBCUs around here. Or like you're going to be at a Hampton game or a Howard game or a Gator or a JSU. Y'all, I'm sorry, I don't know all the HBCUs. I didn't go to one. Don't kill me in the comments. I didn't. But with that being said, she looks like she's about to get ready to do a count on the floor, and I just don't understand. It's not giving what she thought it was giving, and it didn't even seem like there were a lot of people in there for her other than the cast. But yeah, so they show up. Trish and Ken kind of separate. Tisha is asking why Ken is in the pictures. She says he's her chocolate cowboy, her black emoji, her this or that. We get it, girl. You think he's fine. Y'all, I am not one of the people who think that Ken's fine. I'm not. He's all right. It's okay. But I'm also one of those people who personality wins me over, and Ken does nothing for me. So Tisha feels like Trish has one foot in her relationship and one foot out. And her and Nell are like, no, she's busy over there talking about somehow she's going to get married. No, she's not. She's not even divorced. Next, Nell starts talking about how Tisha and Kimmy aren't really being transparent. Kimmy says that when it came to the video, what else do you want her to say? She did not watch the entire thing. Tisha claims that she didn't watch it at all. I don't believe that at all. Y'all have time to sit there and watch all the other things that are going on. Y'all were privy to the things that were being said because there were times where Kimmy, your husband, was suing people for some of the things that they said. So don't sit here and act like y'all don't sit down and watch this stuff because I'm alleging that you do. I think you do. And if you didn't, people were tagging y'all enough that y'all saw some clips or something. So Tisha's like, I am transparent and I don't know what you want me to say because, like, what are you alleging to? And Kimmy's like, are you talking about cheating? Is that what you want to say? And Nell's like, that's not, I can't say whatever. Nell, that's what you're talking about. You don't want your husband to be the only cheater. So Tisha's like, if I dealt with infidelity, then I would have said it. But I haven't dealt with infidelity. Tisha, you don't know whether or not your husband has cheated on you, and that's fine. But there was a point in time where you were very worried that he was, especially because of all the stuff that Mel and Martell used to say when it came to that. I'm not speaking on anybody else's marriage because I don't know, but if the roles were reversed and somebody kept saying some stuff about my husband and they were known to travel in circles with my husband, I think I would be concerned and I think I would want to look into it. That's just me, though. I might even go as far as hiring a private investigator, but be careful what you look for. um, so since they're on the subject of infidelity, she feels like Nell wasn't transparent. She ain't lying. Tisha says there are rumors going on currently about Chris. Now Nell feels like it's a deflection. It is a deflection, but I guess there may be some truth in it as well. Tisha says she wasn't going to bring it up because she didn't know. But Tisha, you wait to bring it up on TV. Okay, I see you, girl. Then Trish is like, well, I'm transparent. I'm an open book. And we know that that's not true as we get a flashback of all the many lies and stories that she told when it came to her interaction with Martell. Tisha says she doesn't know because Trish, you give little pieces. Elsewhere, the guys are, having a talk with Ken. Maurice tells him that he's the bad guy because that lady is still married. Marceau says if something happens to Trish, they're not calling you, they're calling her husband. He tells us, Ken does, that he doesn't need to get the Scott tag team, that this is what they do. They tag team him every single time, and it's the same conversation over and over again. And these aren't the people who need to be talking to him and who he needs to be getting advice from because they don't need to speak on anybody else's relationships. Ken, they do have the same conversation with you over and over again because you have the same situation going on. Nothing has changed. And you yourself have had the same conversations over and over again in multiple scenes with different people. And we're tired of that as well. After he made that comment, I said, be careful, Ken. They're going to be after you next. So we see Marceau and Maurice. They want to talk to Chris about this whole NDA comment. So, of course, Marceau is the one to bring it up. Here's my problem. After all this time, why now? You all should have addressed this if it was really that big of an issue and if it was really that concerning when you heard it, but I guess you didn't hear it until recently because you saw the clip on the show. That's the only reason why I'm getting here. So Chris lets them know that it was brought to him by Martell, or I can't remember how he said it. Somebody said something to Martell and about it, and it was relayed back that Martell said that one of the guys in the group told girls to sign NDAs. Chris said that he told a person he didn't know. He says that what wasn't shown or what was cut out, that it was lawyer talk, and maybe you needed to talk to Maurice or Martell. I personally don't believe it. Y'all let me know if y'all believe Chris down below, because something about it doesn't sound right to me. But they decide to let it go. They're going to keep an eye on him. So Kimmy is tired of the transparency talk. She wants to know what she's not being transparent about. Kimmy, stop playing in our faces. Because just last season, you were not being transparent about the DUI situation. You weren't. You were not being transparent because you changed that story a little bit too. You gave us a little bit too much information too, letting us know that there are often times where you wake up and your man isn't home, where he's in his office at whatever it's called. I don't think it's called Credit One anymore, but wherever your office is, and he'll be there, and how you left your house to go look for him. Sounds like there's something else going on there, but we're not going to talk about that. You weren't transparent about how he treated your son, because it's just now really becoming an issue this season, when it no longer even really is a consequence, because he no longer lives with you all and he doesn't have to deal with that. And you weren't transparent about how badly he treated you during your battle with cancer, making jokes about how the wind isn't going to blow in your hair, and talking about how you aren't having enough sex, and you sitting there making a storyline about you trying to get your libido back. So please get out of my face with the transparency conversation. So the NDA thing comes up. The ladies head over there. As the guys have already cleared this up, Tisha is drunk. So she is being loud, and she's walking up on Chris, and she's doing her finger like this. And Nell's like, you're not gonna point your finger in his face. And she then summons him to come right here. Tisha, you gotta stop, girl. Why they It's so much energy when it comes to other men, but where is the energy for your husband? I don't like it. I don't like it. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Had the roles been reversed, I probably, and y'all, I'm just being honest here, I would have knocked your hand out of my man's face. Because why are you walking up on him like that? You're not even allowed to do that to me. So you're definitely not allowed to do that to my man. That's a no-no. Disrespect yours. Don't disrespect mine. But once again, this isn't my situation, and I'm not married. So, as I said, Nell isn't having it. Chris says, I don't report to Letitia Scott. I'm with Chris on that. Marceau tells Tisha, well, he tells us that Tisha has a bad habit of walking up on men and treating them like husbands. They may be a husband, but they aren't hers. I don't even feel like you need to be walking up on your husband like that. That's just my personal opinion. So she's talking about the NDA and wants Chris to explain and yada yada yo. And Chris says, I've already spoken with your husband about that. And she's looking like, what you say? And I didn't care to write down what Maurice whispered to her, but he did say that they talked about it, they handle it, whatever. And that's basically the end. And we see next week it's gonna be a whole bunch more drama. You all, if there's something that I missed, feel free to put it down below. Let me know what you thought about this episode. It was okay. It wasn't awful. I do feel like I don't want to hear no more about this transparency conversation though, because there's so much more to give. I see that Destiny will be back next week, and I'm interested to see what that conversation with her and Tisha look like, because Tisha wants no part of Martell, and Destiny and Martell are trying to make sure that each other survives on this show. Anyways, that's all I got. Thank you guys so much. We're on the road to 3,000. If you've watched and you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and help a sister out and subscribe, because I'm trying to get paid this month, because I didn't get paid last month. Well, I'm going to get paid this month because it's going to carry over. But the point is, the funds weren't funding last month. So make sure that you're actually, watching, you're actually subscribing, you're actually hitting that thumbs up button, because seriously, guys, I can speak for myself. As a content creator, we put a lot of time into taking notes and coming up here and talking about it. And a lot of us don't want to ask you guys for funds and things of that nature, because we understand, like, times are hard. Shoot, I know times are hard. But the thing that helps us out, hit the thumbs up button, because I would love to get in the algorithm. Like, I would love to type in Love and Marriage Huntsville and see my name pop up. I would. I have people last week who were telling me that they never even knew that I was reviewing this show. So help a sister out. you know? Anyways, those of you who already been doing it, thanks. Appreciate it so much. I don't want to seem like I'm complaining. I would appreciate it if you help me out by just tapping on the button. That's all. Until next time.